Okay, so this is for chapter 10. So I've already gone to the homework file and just clicked on the questions right here. And here we're doing questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You already will have available the solution that was typed up by someone else. And I'll be honest, I have no idea why the file is named that. This is not module 4, this is module 1, chapter 10. I'm not allowed to change it though, so you got what you got. But I at least still want to talk about it to make things a little bit more understandable. So let's just work through it here. We need to, in this case here, look at the components of GDP that are affected. Now, for this one, we don't have to say, is it going to go up or down? Because GDP never goes down. All we have to do here is identify what part of GDP is affected. So here we've got Uncle Fester buying a new refrigerator from a domestic manufacturer. The domestic manufacturer tells us we don't need to worry about whether this is a net export or an import. So that would mean here, this is all about people buying stuff, right? So our choices here are C plus I plus G plus NX. Consumption, investment, government spending, or net exports. Aunt Dolly hires a local contractor to help her build a new house. Houses are part of I, so that's an I. The Huang family buys an old Victorian house from the Ellis family. Because it's old, that means it's already existing. It's not newly manufactured, which would mean that there'd be no effect on the GDP. It already happened whenever that house was originally built. You pay a hairdresser for a haircut. That's a service. That's part of consumption. Ford sells a Mustang from its inventory to the Martinez family. Inventory is part of I. Ford manufactures a Focus. Oh, geez, the Ford Focus. I remember that. And sells it to Avis, the car rental company. Well, that in that case, that would be sorry. Um, in that case, it's going to be investment. It's going to be investment because the car rental company, the car is part of their capital equipment. California hires workers to repave Highway 66. That would be government spending. The federal government sends your grandmother a Social Security check. This should be no effect. The reason why is because Social Security represents just giving your grandmother money. She didn't do anything for it. Your parents buy a bottle of French wine. Well, that would be imported from somewhere else. And Honda expands its factory. That would be something that Honda is doing as part of its investment. Let's try to compare our answers here. Yeah, we said consumption here, we said investment here. Oh, I see. They actually wanted you. Um, what? Pizza? What? D? Pizza? It's a hairdresser. Dude. Okay, well, this is obviously an imperfect answer key because it's not the right. Um, E is correct, so that was the one about the highway being built. Um, and sorry, I didn't do the other side of this. So C and F have two things going on. In C, we are both the car is being um, sold out of the inventory. That's the um, I. But then obviously the Martinez family is going to buy it. So the Martinez family is going to have a C. So So the I is going to go down, the consumption is going to go up. Now, investment can go down only because here we're saying that the inventories are going down. Inventories representing production in the past. The two are equalizing each other. And then in the case of the bottle of wine, someone's going to buy it, so consumption is going to go up, but it's going to go up by the same amount that the imports go up, which basically makes net exports go down. Because remember, net exports is exports minus imports. Okay, let's look at number 2. Well, that number 2 looks different from this number 2. Well, let's solve it. So here, if the base here is 2,000, that would be right here. That would be right here. So that would mean that the GDP deflator for each year is going to be the nominal over the real times 100. So in the case of 1970, that would be 1,200 over 3,000 equals times 100. Sorry. Times 100 equaling 40. So that would be 40 right here. And then in the case of 1980, we know that it's x, which is the unknown, over 5,000 times 100 equals 60. Take out the 2 zeros, take out the 2 zeros. So now I've got x over 50 equals 60. X equals 3,000. So there should be a 3,000 right there. And then over here, we already know this one. We shouldn't have to do too much work here. That would be 6,000 over x times 100 equals 100. That would mean you've got 100x x times 100 over 600,000 equals 100. And then what we would see, let's make sure here. What we would see here is that if we do the division or cross multiply by 100, then we would have 600,000 equal 10,000 x divided by 10,000 means that I can cross out 4 zeros. So x equals 6,000 nominal over real. So that's why our deflator here is 100. Then we see that the same thing is going on here. Since this is the base year and everything is in $2,000, then the nominal and the real are the same, just like over here. So that's why you can have two unknowns there, because we know that the deflator is 100 always in the base year. And then, just in the interest of time here, I won't keep solving this here, but you would just, again, solve all of these in terms of that equation where you're solving it algebraically. Number 3, government purchases component of GDP does not include transfer payments. Thinking about the definition, why are transfer payments excluded? Well, basically, there's no work being done for it, right? And GDP is trying to measure levels of production. So if no work is being done, there's nothing to be added here. And that's kind of what we should see here. Yeah, nothing is produced. Number 4, GDP does not include the value of used goods. Why would it be? Why would such transactions make GDP less? What if we included them? What would that hurt? Well, we just wouldn't have as good of an understanding of actual production in the current time period, because it would be a time period from when that item was built. And then in the final one that they want you to do, number 5, we've got milk and honey. And you're basically going through these same steps again of calculating a real and a nominal GDP, as well as the deflator. And so that's what you see here. In the first step, they calculate the nominal GDP for each of the years. Then they calculate the real GDP, which would mean that you take whatever the quantity is for each of the years, but it's always the price in 2013. But it's the quantity in whatever the year was. So as you can see here, the price did not change. It was always 222. It was always 111. It was only the quantity that was changing. And then for each of the years, I'm going to divide nominal by real. So 200 divided by 200. 400, 400. 800, 400. And that's what you see right here. Then we need to calculate the percentage change. The general equation for percentage changes, in case you don't remember this from high school, it would be, sorry, in a second, let me right here. It would be new minus old over old times 100. New minus old over old times 100. And that's a pretty good equation to kind of rely on here. In terms of calculating the percentage change here. That would be, again, percentage change is equal to new minus old over old times 100. And we see that there. And then part C is just asking you to comment on these changes that occurred. That was my number 5. That's this one's number 4. Okay.